Hello everyone and welcome. We're incredibly honored to have Professor Atakan Varol with us. Professor Atakan is leading figure in the robotics and artificial intelligence in Kazakhstan. He leads the Institute of Smart Systems and Artificial Intelligence, or ISAI, dynamic research institute making significant contributions to the field of AI, particularly in the areas like natural language processing and large language models. Thank you for taking your time and to speak with us today.
Thank you very much, Adilhan. It's a pleasure for me.
Let's start by some brief introduction and some personal background on yourself. Can you share a bit about your educational experience, and have you participated in any subject Olympiads or any interesting extracurricular activities?
All right. Actually, I was a little child who spent all of his time playing with Legos. Then I started school and I get my first computer, Commodore 64. I started playing games, but at the same time programming in BASIC. I was 7 or 8 years old. Then an Amiga 500, then an Intel 286, Intel 386 DX40, and I spent my high school years extensively programming and doing different activities with the computer, such as creating Linux kernels and other things. But I did not participate in different Olympiads or other activities. However, when I was a child, I was also fascinated about robots. So there was a cartoon named Transformers, and I just thought that one day I will create robots like these, like an Optimus Prime or Bumblebee or a Megatron. And when I was entering the university entrance examination, there was a new university, Sabancı University, which started a mechatronics program. And I just tried to figure out what mechatronics is and understood that it is a mixture of mechanical and electrical engineering and control theory. And it would allow me to create robots, and I picked that discipline. At the university, I had the chance to participate in lots of robot competitions. I spent my 4 years studying for my courses and also participating in very many different robot competitions. And Abu Robocon was one of them, but also many national ones and some international ones. And I became one more time convinced that robotics is my calling, because creating intelligent devices that act by themselves and do complex things is fascinating. And I thought I will also do my master's and PhD in this topic, but I want to focus on robotics that will help people. And I was very fortunate that in my alma mater, Vanderbilt University, Professor Michael Goldfarb had an excellent research group which was starting work on robotic prosthetic devices for amputees. And I spent my PhD on that project, and that was also a very rewarding experience. And eventually I had the chance to join Nazarbayev University, and I basically took the first robotics courses in Turkey in a dedicated mechatronics program. And I am proud to state that I taught the first robotics students of Kazakhstan as well. So those are two unique points of my career.
Oh, that's very interesting experience you got. You finished your bachelor degree like 20 years ago. If you had to start bachelor degrees like today, what major would you choose? Would it be still mechatronics or robotics?
All right. Right now, I am mainly dealing with artificial intelligence, but I also see how these fields are evolving, and we are at the point of a Cambrian explosion for robotics. So we have right now near artificial general intelligence inside the computers. We are seeing the first examples of useful humanoid robots with reasonable costs. When we combine these things together in the next 10 years, we can extrapolate that there will be humanoid robots among us doing most of the service jobs, interacting with us, being our friends, and this will be a huge industry, more or less comparable to the automotive industry and others. And therefore, it is an excellent time to study robotics. Therefore, if I would have an...
Okay, thank you very much. My next question would be about your experience in academic and research-focused areas, both in USA and Kazakhstan. How would you compare those two experiences?
actually worked in different environments. I worked a little bit in Turkey, a little bit in Germany, then in the United States, and now for a very long time in Kazakhstan. This is my 14th year. And in the United States, our university was very well established. There were laboratories which had all the components, procurement problems were solved, people were working in that established order, and everybody was becoming a small gear of a big machine. So, for instance, you are a great expert of statistics, and your job was becoming doing statistics for the bioinformatics department. For one specific type of problems, people were coming to you. Or you were just a professor working on computational fluid dynamics for one specific type of flows for jet engines, and you were getting grants on that and doing that for your whole career. I came to Nazarbayev University. Nazarbayev University had these 7 blocks and the 2 dormitory blocks, and from here till to the center of the city there was no other building, and we have literally created this university from scratch. And that was a very rewarding experience. And initially it was hard because no labs, it is very hard to conduct research. When you are alone here in Kazakhstan, you realize that actually how much you depended on others in order to conduct your research. You feel a little bit lonely, but somehow we have solved all of those problems. And today, if you would visit the C4 building over there, you will tell that, wow, this is a top-notch university. These people are conducting top-notch research. And as of now, for a young person who will be coming to NU and who wants to conduct research either in bachelor program or MS program or PhD program, I can wholeheartedly state that this university offers to you what any other top-tier research university offers. So they can come here and then do all of those things. So we can tell that finally we have managed to create a research university in Kazakhstan. But is this enough? No. In my opinion, I am always for progress and optimization. We should just now together create Nazarbayev University 2.0, a research university which is also highly efficient, a research university with diversified income streams, a research university that is integrated better to the society, a research university that creates globally relevant and impactful research, but in areas which directly help to the Kazakhstani society for economic and social development. So now I see that we are in this rankings game, and I am not a big fan of it, but it still matters because it just forms the perceptions of others towards your institution. And we are in the range 500 to 600. I wholeheartedly believe that if we work together, we can just make this a top 300 university in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And so basically the reason what brought you to the Kazakhstan was the both challenges and opportunities that you see to like grow those areas in Kazakhstan.
Actually not. I came to Kazakhstan because of my wife, who had Bolashak obligations. And when I just told my colleagues and my boss that I am going to Kazakhstan, they thought that I am crazy. And my boss is a very nice person who told me that if you come back 1 year later, no questions will be asked. You will just go to your desk and continue working. And I just came to Kazakhstan with that statement. I was confident that I can go back. But somehow now I am the oldest thing you can see at Nazarbayev University. I started in 2011. It has been now 14 years, 2025. I have done so many different things which I would never have the chance to do if I would be a faculty member in a US university. And it has been an extremely rewarding and great experience so far. And I still believe that there are lots of things to do in ISAI, at Nazarbayev University, and our greatest days are ahead of us.
Yeah, 11 years in Kazakhstan?
14 years.
14 years in Kazakhstan. So in those 14 years, like how did you enjoy our country in general? Like from outside, from the university, people of the Kazakhstan, do you enjoy like living here? It's cold outside. Maybe there are some places with the better weather or something.
To say the truth, I enjoy my life. I right now go to my home country, Turkey, for 2 weeks in the winter and 1 month in the summer. And with my wife, we start seeing in our dreams Beş Parmak, and we tell that it's time to go back to home. And then I realized that home became Kazakhstan for me.
Wow.
It's something interesting. And very interestingly, since I am from Turkey, I guess that this place never felt foreign to me. Just it was as if it is a city of my country which I have not visited before. But in Kazakhstan, I did not feel like a foreigner for one day. Kazakh people have been always very nice and kind to me. In general, they are very tolerant people. They are very open-minded people. The society has lots of problems, but it can deliberate them and then it takes actions to solve them. So, and there is some form of optimism in this society. People still make lots of children. When you go to the mall, you just see young families. All of these things I like very much. And therefore, as long as Kazakhstan needs me, I plan to be here.
Okay, thank you. It was well, we are very welcome to you to have here. One other question that I have is about your experience as a chair of the robotics department at Nazarbayev University. We know that you were a chair previously. So how that experience shaped you to the role of the founding director of ISAI? Did that experience help you to prepare for upcoming challenges and opportunities?
Yes, of course. We have founded the robotics department with Professor Almas Shintemirov. We were two faculty members in that department trying to figure out how we can create the best educational environment for our students. And to a large extent, we have been successful. We have spent countless hours creating laboratories. And those laboratories have endowed our students with very strong different skills. And now many students contact us and tell us that thanks to the program they have studied, they have become very successful in their careers. And that just is a very big source of pride and joy for me. And robotics department, there are lots of things that were technically hard, but the most important thing is human management. And in the robotics department, we have created a working environment where all of us were friendly to each other. Whenever we had a problem, we could come together, discuss that, and solve it. And this way, we always figured out to support each other and move forward. And that has taught me many things. Now, as the founding director of ISAI, I am taking many of those practices with me to the new institute, and I use them daily. So in general, I love the robotics department. I like the School of Engineering and Digital Sciences, but I also welcome the restructuring of the university and creation of a dedicated college of computer science and artificial intelligence. And I personally believe that robotics should be a part of that school because the future of robotics is in AI.
Okay. But you're also currently the professor at the robotics department. So I wanted to ask that some professors often adopt their own different style of teaching. Some of them like focus on simplifying concepts and sparking interest in the students, while others prefer to challenge students intensely and push them to their limits to see how they can perform under those conditions. How would you describe your teaching style? What is your approach?
All right, I hope no one will go and look to the student evaluations after my remarks. But let me just give you some quotes from important people, famous people. One of them is, I guess, to the best of my recollection, from Albert Einstein. You must make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. And the second one is from one of my favorite authors, Antoine de Exupéry, the author of Night Flight, and also you would know him as the author of The Little Prince. And he states that perfection is achieved not when there is not something left to add. Perfection is achieved when there is nothing left to remove. So that's my philosophy in general. You should simplify your teaching as well, such that the students understand the concepts and establish their foundation. However, in courses, there must be components which push the students to their limits to make them exploratory learning and also exercise peer learning. And in my opinion, in order to accomplish these objectives, you need to have project-based teaching and course projects. In those course projects, students should be able to work on harder topics and then achieve their full potential while communicating with their peers and learning from them, getting feedback from their mentors. In this context, I would like to point out on the communication skills because right now we are conducting very complex projects in ISAI. Sometimes 70 people work on a single project, and there the hardship is not all the time technical. Most of the time, the hardships emerge due to the human-to-human communication. And our students must also learn in their courses how to communicate as technical teams, both in speech and written forms, to become very good professionals.
So you say that it's very important to have great communication and team working skills, but as far as I know, many students in the university years doesn't really like the group projects because they seem like some people does not really work well. What kind of advice would you suggest to make the working inside the groups better? Maybe some practical advices or any general advices?
So in general, you should just make the expectations clear from day one. So the group should just deliberate and there should be specific tasks assigned to the project members. You can just kind of like do this using paper and pencil, or you can just use more complex software tools such as Slack, for instance, where you just kind of like create tickets and tasks for different group members. But in general, the students should be proactive, and when they see a problem, communication problem with the teammates or communication problems with the professor, or they don't understand something, they should always proactively go and tell, hey, we are doing this project together. You are not doing your part. Can you please work? And that person might have a very good excuse telling that I was sick, my family had some type of problem. And you should always forgive them once. Tell that, yes, this might happen. No worries. Please next week work harder. But if that does not just solve the situation and this becomes a recurring issue and you realize that that person is not working hard, then you either warn that person, or if that does not solve the problem, you just go and inform your technical supervisor or professor. So it's also the same way in industry, research organization, or university as well. So this is my personal advice. Even in order to solve the problems among the team, communication is the first thing to do.
Okay, so since you mentioned it, the main goal or goal within in the group, let's move on to the to discussion of the ISAI and its vision. Can you share, please, your the main research direction and goals of the ISAI? What was the initiative in the very beginning? How did you come up with that idea?
Actually, we had discussed the creation of ISAI with our former provost, Dr. İlhan Adesida, for quite a long time. But it takes time for big organizations to take action. Finally, we just have created ISAI following an instruction of the first president of the country. And our objective was to create a world-class AI research institute in this hyper-competitive field and show that Kazakhstani intellectual workforce can compete in this field. And we also stated that we will create AI for good and AI for Kazakhstan. And our research will conform to the highest ethical standards of artificial intelligence and data science. And ISAI has operated for approximately 5 years as an internally funded research institute of Nazarbayev University. And in 2023, October, we had another instruction to scale ISAI up and make it a full-fledged standalone research institute. And I have been working the last 2 years on that. Right now, ISAI is a private entity with the founder, Nazarbayev University. And it has its own budget, and it has some national scale project. One of them that you might have heard is the Kazakh large language model. And we have been working on generative AI very extensively. So we had very many different research topics: biometrics, circular economy, satellite imaging, biomedical imaging, augmented reality and mixed reality, and many others. But starting 2024 April, our focus has been generative AI, because as many experts state that right now maybe that is the only problem to solve. Because it is highly likely that we will achieve AGI, artificial general intelligence, in the next 2-3 years. And all experts, most experts, including I, we believe that once AGI will be achieved, achievement of ASI, artificial superintelligence, will be immediate. And after that happens, all the research problems you have, all the development problems you have can be solved by AI. So here, basically, all the countries should develop the national capacity to have their own AGI solutions. And ISAI is right now also representing Kazakhstan in this grant race.
Okay, so ISAI is home to many innovative projects. How those projects, like new project ideas at ISAI, come to life?
All right. Just this is a complex question. Previously, we were having a set of students approaching us with different interests and strengths, and we were just crafting projects based on their forte. There is also another stream in which some of our data scientists directly work with faculty members to elevate their research using artificial intelligence. So basically, a faculty member comes and tells that I am conducting this. Can I collaborate with you? And can you just show me how to use AI for this specific thing? And in the recent years, when we created this new ISAI, we just told that ISAI will be creating all the elements of multimodal artificial general intelligence in-house in Kazakhstan in a cost-effective manner. However, ensuring that Kazakh language, along with other languages of importance for Kazakhstan, can be inside these models. And in the last 1 year, basically day and night, my focus has been this. As you might have heard, that we just have created Oilan model after the Kaz LLM model. Oilan is a language vision model, and hopefully one day it will be a language audio vision model. So it will understand text, it will understand audio, it will understand images. Eventually, we will figure out how to merge audios and images together and make it understand videos. Eventually, it will hopefully generate one day audio directly, and it will generate one day images directly. So you will just basically be able to create with this AI, with this black box, any type of input of any modality, converted to any type of output of any modality. And all of this at a quality that can be done better than an average human being, hopefully can be deployed cost effectively on hardware that we can find, because hardware is a huge issue. And this has been right now my focus. Of course, while doing these, we just need to pick which specific problems to solve in order to just solve this huge problem, and what type of areas to focus. For that, right now, what we are doing is doing huge amount of reading. Our whole team is constantly reading papers, visiting Hugging Face and GitHub repos, trying new models, and trying to figure out how to achieve this objective in the best way possible. So since this field is so rapidly developing, that I can state that every 6 months I am now doing another PhD, just learning something new. And I like this very fast-paced progress of this field.
Hello, dear viewers. My name is Absalamov Varol, and I am an executive director at ISAI. I came to ISAI 5 years ago, and when I came to ISAI, we were a small team, maybe like 11 people, and nowadays we are like 39 full-time employees at ISAI. Our main direction in research is natural language processing, computer vision, AI and robotics, AI and medicine, and AI and augmented reality and mixed reality. So what makes us unique is that the whole team of ISAI is local Kazakhstani citizens and graduates of Bolashak, Nazarbayev University, KB2, Eurasian National University, Al-Farabi, and other universities of Kazakhstan. Whatever we do, all the projects, at the end, we put them as an open source so anyone can use it. And each summer we run summer research program, which is a good platform for the local students and international students or Kazakhstani students studying abroad to meet here at ISAI and to gain all the experience, expertise, and know-how we have.
So you mentioned that it's like feeling like learning something new every time, and it's, I think, very important skill, like to be adaptive. And for computer scientists and in general for machine learning like enthusiasts, it's very important to keep up with the updates in the field. Do you feel like pressure that like you have to be able to learn every time, every year of your life, like, or is it, or does that experience excites you?
That excites me because when I just look at myself, the activity which I like doing most is reading. So if I would just basically be in holiday and if I would have lots of free time, I would read a book. I would learn something new. And sometimes I come to work, especially on Saturdays. I just read the whole day, lots of papers, etc. And I am telling that just for doing the stuff which I like most, people give me money. I just found the cheat code of life. So for me, this is exactly what I like to do. And if you can find the job which you like to do, then the job becomes your hobby. So I recommend to all of the young students find their inner calling and shape their careers accordingly.
Okay. So ISAI is home to many innovative projects, and one of them is ABK. Can you tell us what is it about and why it's significant?
All right. In the university community, there are thousands of computer scientists. Everybody is very intelligent. Everybody is following the international literature and publications. But one of our tasks is also communicating what we are doing to the society. And if we were to, for instance, bring someone from the public and show them a computer screen and tell that if you write here something and click enter on the computer screen, some text appears, it would be very hard to explain what that AI does. But in IVK, we have created a photorealistic avatar which looks like a human being, which can understand a human being's speech. It can generate output, and it can also just process any type of questions and answers them. And this way we are conveying to the society what you can achieve with AI. You can just create inside that computer screen some type of artificial human being that can communicate with you. The predecessor of IBK was Umay. And Umay had in her heart and brain ChatGPT. And now we are telling that, look, it was ChatGPT before. Everything what you were telling was going to servers in another country, and it was coming back. And one day, if they were to cut that access, you could not have used it. And it was not understanding Kazakh language and Kazakh customs that well. Now, inside IBK, we have our own KazLLM. Your data stays here. It understands Kazakh language better. It can still communicate in other languages too. And that is a very good technology demonstrator for us to communicate what we are doing.
Mr. Rahat Miramov. I've been working here as a data scientist for 1 year. One of the projects that I am involved in is a virtual avatar project, and I am also involved in training ASR models, collecting data sets for them. So for example, we can talk about virtual avatar project. The reason why we developed her is because despite the recent advancements in digital assistive technologies, some people still struggle to understand and retain the information they receive because traditional interfaces, they lack personalization, interactivity, and people become overwhelmed by the complex information. One reason to improve this is virtual avatars, because they can simplify the information through the interactivity, they can give immediate feedback, and therefore they create a bond between users and ML models, which is built on trust and like some empathetic connection. This avatar is, we named her IBK. We used different technologies like Unreal Engine to render her, NVIDIA Audio to Face to synchronize the audio with her facial expressions in real time. And we also integrated those technologies with our own technologies, such as ASR, the automatic speech recognition, Kazakh TTS, and our own Kazakh large language model, which acts as her brain. So you can interact with her naturally, and she can give you information that you want. Now let me talk to Aybike. Салем, Aybike.
Сәлем, қалайсың? Қандай көмек керек?
Өзің туралы ақпарат ете аласың ба?
Әрине, мен Назарбаев университетінің виртуалды көмекшісімін. Менің міндетім сұрақтарыңа жауап беру және ақпаратпен бөлісу. Егер көмек керек болса, сұрауымда айта бер.
Қазақ хандығы қай жылы құрылды?
Қазақ хандығы білім 1465 жылы құрылған деп есептеледі. Оның негізін қалаушылар Керей мен Жәнібек хандар болған.
Астана мен Алматы қалаларының арақашықтығы қанша километр?
Астана мен Алматы қалаларының арақашықтығы шамамен 1200 километрді құрайды. Бұл қашықтық жол бағытына байланысты аздап өзгеруі мүмкін.
So that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Can you share your insights about Oilan, also one of the projects of the ISAI?
All right, we have created KazLLM, and there were lots of doubts whether a research group from Kazakhstan can create a competitive large language model. But since I am fortunate that I work with the smartest people of Kazakhstan, we did that. But of course, the race continues, and right now AI is becoming multimodal, meaning that the original language models were only understanding text input and were generating text output. But now these models will be able to understand text, audio, video, images, and should be able to output text, images, and audio. And in order to do this, we started the Oilan project, in which we created a generative AI model that understands both images and text and can generate text. But Oilan will not finish there. We will add audio inputs, we will create other outputs such as audio and images, and at the end, Oilan will be the flagship model of Kazakhstan in the world of generative AI.
That's a very perspective field for Kazakhstan.
My name is Aspandiar, and I have been working in ISAI almost a year. So I came in last year's April, and so on. I'm working here. One of the recent projects I worked on, it was Oilan. So we as data scientists made a large language model that who is able to speak and read the images, also images in Kazakhstan related images. And our backenders also made a platform like GPT-like platform where you can communicate with our large language model. Kazakhstan is one of the countries who has its own model with own playground, and you can access it for free. So Oilan is a cutting-edge product, and it's standalone product where you can, where in the back there is a standalone large language model who is able to speak and see images in Kazakh languages. And our job was to create such a model and then create a backend and front end so that so we was creating a standalone product where we can communicate like a ChatGPT, but it's our model. So you can communicate there, like, and you can input images there and ask what's in the image, and it also can do OCR because we trained Oilan in 10 million Kazakhstani related images, so it can do OCR in Kazakh languages and like communicate with you in a in Kazakh language perfectly. And yeah, so I think this was one of our biggest products that we recently made available for everyone in Kazakhstan for free. Yeah, so it was like we started from collecting the data. So we scraped and parsed almost the whole publicly available data from Kazakhstani internet. Also, we translated it. We wrote scripts so that we can efficiently translate from other languages to Kazakh one. So also as a team developed tokenizers, adapted it for a Kazakh language and trained models so that they could actually process this data and actually start like speaking in Kazakh.
So as a student, I'm also interested in the field of AI, and I'm really interested in how can I approach the ISAI. I have heard that there is a ISAI summer research program. Can you tell us about it? What was the idea behind it, and what do you impact trying to achieve?
All right, when we have created ISAI, in the first year we were not so popular, but in the second year, ISAI became immensely popular. And we just basically, I had in April around 200 inquiries from university students to do something with ISAI in the summer. I responded to 30, 40 of them, maybe 10 of them started working with us, but it was exhausting. Then I thought that for the next year, we can formalize this. We can just use our data scientists in order to create some type of admissions committee. And we can do a paper-based, based on application package admissions and afterwards interviews. And then we can accept based on merit the best of these students, because in my opinion, it's an absolute must that the admissions should be meritocratic. And we did this, and it worked very well. However, we have seen that only students from Astana and Almaty made it. Because to say the truth, the best universities are in these two major cities of Kazakhstan. In the next iteration of ISAI summer research program, we just had two different streams of applicants. One of them is from the major Republican cities and the other ones from the different regions. And this way we just have now a balanced representation of whole Kazakhstan. And 1 year after that, high school students started communicating us and told us that they want to join too. And last year we also accepted 24 university students and 24 high school students. And last year we just kind of like had lots of friction with the parents on why their kids did not get into the program, because it became something incredibly competitive, like 500 applications and only you just accept 24 people. And some of them told us that just let us pay money and then let us come. And we told that we don't know how to get money. So this year we will be having merit-based admissions for the major cities and the rural cities, but we will also another stream for fee-paying students, applicants, and we intend to use the funds we gain from there in order to provide more places for the merit-based cases, because we just provide them dormitory rooms here at Nazarbayev University. They get a very small stipend for working with us, and this way we can hopefully this year figure out how to make the ISAI summer research program sustainable. But you can also just join ISAI. Once in a while we just hire data scientists, and we also get huge number of applicants, but we interview, and through that competitive process we hire some world-class people, and that's another way to join ISAI. Another way to join ISAI is there are ISAI-affiliated faculty members conducting spectacularly good research at Nazarbayev University. You can do graduation project, MS thesis or PhD thesis with them, and through them you can just work with us. So basically ISAI is open for any type of inquiry. It just is not only for the Nazarbayev University students. Some of our top employees are also from other universities of Kazakhstan. So as long as you just have a will to work, you have a strong background, and you just do not give up easily, there will be definitely a place for you in ISAI to contribute.
If I'm not mistaken, I found out about the application process to ISAI from the email which was sent to NU students. At that time, I was a computer science master student, so I decided to apply, and I was accepted as a summer research program student in 2023. So yes, during my summer research program, I worked on computer vision project. It's about generating synthetic images for improved human pose estimation. And when my summer research program ended, I was invited to continue this work, but this time as a research assistant. And I took this project as my thesis and continued working on it under the supervision of Professor Varol and Professor Yazıcı from Computer Science Department.
So you told us about the budget. Is it enough for ISAI? Do you feel any need in like updating any computational resources at ISAI, maybe new GPUs? Because as far as we could find, the latest updates were in 2021, and since then I think the ISAI grown a lot, and like its impact went more global. So do you feel any need in updates, or do you have the opportunity to do so?
If you would ask any organization in the world if your budget is enough, everybody would tell that budget is not enough. Because if you have budget, you will do something with that budget and then you will need more. So basically, ISAI has a certain budget and our mission and job is to utilize it for the most effectiveness. And when I scream and yell about lack of budget, somehow Kazakhstan finds the resources to give to us. Yes, we might not have huge budgets like the research institutes in the West or in other countries, but compared to many other countries, Nazarbayev University, Kazakhstan, Kazakh people give us very good research conditions. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to create, for instance, Kaz LLM or Söylem. With respect to computational resources, the situation is more complex. As you might have noticed that there are lots of laws and regulations that prohibit or limit the sale of advanced computational hardware to different countries. And Kazakhstan is not forbidden to have those systems, but it needs to go through a very long bureaucratic process. And right now the market monopoly is NVIDIA, and it's very hard to buy those. However, in the last few years, our focus has been using cloud computing resources. You can just, we are finding sponsorship money from some very good sponsors around Kazakhstan. They just help us to acquire cloud computing resources. And we are using those cloud computing resources in order to conduct our projects. For the medium-term future, this will be our objective, but I am also very well aware that the state of Kazakhstan, Minister of Digitalization, Minister of Higher Education and Science, they are diligently working to establish more computational capacity in the country. Once that will be available, our hope is that that will be shared with the whole academia of Kazakhstan, including us, such that we can just raise the highest quality intellectual talent and conduct projects useful for the country. But as of now, yes, we are not bringing to our campus new computational resources, but we are increasing our computational resources thanks to cloud computing.
But you mentioned before that you aim to be sustainable. That's why you cut off the IBK or UMAI from the ChatGPT, and cloud computing is like relying on the outside. So you would like to prefer to have it like here or in Kazakhstan, like on the campus.
Absolutely, but this problem fundamentally cannot be solved until Kazakhstan creates its own semiconductor industry, creates these GPUs, or maybe in another way, in which there will be multiple vendors around the world that compete with each other to sell these. Because if today there would be a Chinese company or German company or South Korean company which would sell very good GPUs, then United States would not impose these restrictions because people would go and simply buy it from those others. Realistically, in the medium-term future, in the next 10 years, I do not foresee Kazakhstan creating a semiconductor industry that can create state-of-the-art GPUs. Kazakhstan can do extremely successful scientific innovations and scientific projects and industrialization efforts, but semiconductor industry, foundry creation will not be one of them. For instance, there might be incredibly successful companies in Kazakhstan which create their own designs and get them manufactured somewhere else. That I see totally feasible, but the industry not. Therefore, the possibility to create these type of data centers in Kazakhstan will be a problem until the market has multiple players. We are following that China will be introducing their semi-advanced GPUs in the forthcoming months, this Huawei Ascend series. And one thing that we can do is there is also a very highly developed gaming GPU segment. And gaming GPU segment is not subject to constraints. So if we want to innovate, we can try to figure out how to run these advanced models on these type of GPUs in some form restricted setting, but still just kind of like achieving high performance. And this way satisfying needs of Kazakhstan. This is, in my opinion, possible. There are some very innovative approaches. I suggest to the computer scientists, computer engineers listening to this talk, please conduct your MS thesis on this, and then if you just succeed, you will be solving a very important problem of the country.
Yeah, since you mentioned China, the introduction of the Deepseek was very crucial, and it shocked the whole market of the GPU providers, and also it showed that it's not heavily so much relied on the GPU performance, and it could be simplified, and it ruined the stocks of the Nvidia. Do you think that such projects is possible in Kazakhstan? Because as far as we know, that the Deepseek was side project of the large firm, and can the ISAI make the similar impact?
All right. In my opinion, Deepseek was not a side project, it was a major project. I have studied the code of Deepseek. I have read the Deepseek V3 and R1 papers maybe 20 times so far, so I understand it inside out. The engineering advancement they made in creating those models are multifold. They just figured out how to do excellent mixture of expert architectures where the model consists of multiple parallel transformers and trained it with great efficiency. This is just a huge achievement. On top of that, they just started using a mixture of floating point 8, floating point 16, and floating point 32 number precisions skillfully, and this is a huge engineering advancement. On top of that, they just kind of did not use the CUDA libraries. They just kind of wrote their mathematical routines on the PTX level themselves. That is God level engineering achievement as well. So in my opinion, these Deepseek people are showing that Chinese engineering is right now top notch. These people can do very advanced models. And they did not stop there, they just released Deepseek R1. Until the R1 era, the main form of us training these networks was we just provide them questions and we just kind of give them written answers created by human beings or by another strong generative AI model. And the model was just kind of trying to figure out how to mimic those answers. And the cost function was calculated based on the next token prediction loss. But in Deepseek, what they are doing is this. They just give the question, they just give the answer, and in between the model should fill by itself by thinking. So it just is completely reinforcement learning based. So the other models' maximum capacity for intelligence was limited to the question answer pairs you were providing. So it will of course know many more fields than you do, but in those fields it will never be able to be smarter than the greatest expert of that field. But with the Deepseek R1, with reinforcement learning approach, which we have studied in great detail, GRPO basically, a form of preference optimization, now you can make AI which has the potential to be so much smarter than human beings. And besides all of those, in my opinion, OpenAI knew many of these technologies. They were using many of these technologies, but they were not releasing those models. With Deepseek, they just released those models, and they basically, yes, hurt NVIDIA because they showed that the training is less costly, but most importantly, they just kind of destroyed OpenAI's chances to become a $1 trillion tech company they told that what those people are doing, we are just giving here for free. It is not so valuable anymore. So we have studied these architectures, and we genuinely believe that we can create the sparse central core of our transformer by the end of the year by ISAI as well. The fundamental problem with the Deepseek was that they disclosed the model, but they did not disclose the training routines. And the whole world right now was working on that. There is indeed a joint Hugging Face project called OpenR1, and I just checked it 3 times a day to figure out whether someone has figured out the GRPO recipe perfectly. But yesterday, Deepseek has announced that they will just kind of start sharing their repositories, and we are hoping that they will just kind of like show us how they did that. As soon as they do that, ISAI's central transformer architecture will just kind of like switch to the Deepseek architecture. The fundamental advantage of that architecture is this. It is 671 billion parameters, but it knows which ones to activate for a given question and activates only 36 billion of them. This way, you can have the 671 units of intelligence, but it costs you 36 units to use it. But for KazLLM, which we have created and which is a very good model, we have 70 billion parameters, 10 times less than DeepSeek, but we are activating all of them all the time. So basically, that thing is smarter, but half the cost.
Yeah.
So this is a huge efficiency multiplier.
So, as far as I know, it's called like chain of thought models or something like this.
Yes, chain of thought models you can do also using supervised fine-tuning. You can just provide the question, and instead of just writing the answer, you can just write there the explanation of the answer as if you're a university professor teaching to a student. And this way the models just kind of learn much better. And we just kind of call this as the use time compute. So what does that mean? When you are using the model does more computational operations than the needed answer, but this additional computation increases the quality of the answers. And this we do already with our classical models as well. So when you right now use the Oilan's last model, and when you ask a mathematical question, it will not tell you the answer is 3. It will tell that let me first look at the variables. According to this, let me try to solve it this way. Let me do this and let me do that. And at the end, it writes the answer. But this has not been trained with reinforcement learning. This has been trained by us giving those type of millions of questions to the model. The advantage of the reinforcement learning training is the model just kind of figures out how exactly to solve those questions. Eventually, it will just start finding solutions which the regular human beings could not find. And that will be something very interesting. Still, you understand how Deepseek R1 thinks. But right now, there is research on new models in which this feedback loop will not be at the token level understandable by human beings, but at the latent embedding level. So at that instant, you will create some type of AI that is potentially smarter than you, and there is no way to understand for you what it is doing. And that scares me a little bit.
What advice would you give to students who want to get involved with SI? Like maybe some articles, maybe some practical advices on how they can develop themselves to be like at the top level of the students that will probably get accepted.
So if you want to work at ISAI, you must have very strong fundamentals. And very strong fundamentals means that you must know the language of science, and the language of science is mathematics. So I think that everybody at ISAI is very good in mathematics. And secondly, programming is converting mathematics into computer understandable language. And therefore, you must just kind of like understand the concepts of programming languages, the general theory of computation and algorithms very well. On top of that, you need to have certain character traits. We are just working on very hard projects. So you must be a very persistent person who does not easily give up. And on top of that, you just need to be a good team player. We very rarely directly hire people. We just first give them a research assistant contract, and they work with us for a few months. Some people tell us that this is not my cup of tea. I don't want to work here. Many others tell that yes, this is just exactly what I want to do, and we hire. So these are the things you need to have.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Renat Makhatayeva. I have been working at ISAI since 2018, when I was a PhD student and was working as a research assistant in parallel with my studies at NU. Once I defended my PhD, I was hired to ISAI as a postdoc, and I worked as a postdoc for 4 months when I was working on a avatar system which we have designed as an alternative method of interacting with the AI. And currently I'm working as a senior data scientist, and I'm working on the project also related with how we can use the models and products that ISAI developing in terms of their usability to the people. Therefore, I am designing user studies, I'm making protocols, collecting the data, and also writing the scientific papers with the results that we are finding based on our user studies. I came to research when I was a bachelor student, and after the first grade, I just had some free time in summer, and I came to this Advanced Robotics and Mechatronic Systems laboratory, and I talked with Dr. Varol saying that I would like to have a summer internship, and then I spent one summer in ARMS lab, but then I found that I needed to focus on my studies, and I came back to the ARMS lab when I was in master's. I was searching for some laboratories where I could have some research experience, and I came to the ARMS lab not from the first time. I tried different research projects. I worked with BCI systems, which are brain-machine interface systems, and I worked with human-machine interfaces using the KUKA robot. But then when I tried working with augmented reality systems, which was offered in ARMS lab, I really understood that this is something that I like, that I would like to further study in my master's. And starting from the first year and second semester in my master's, I joined the ARMS lab. And since then, I am being a part of this big team that, and I'm focused, and I studied augmented reality technologies, and later on I tried how I can connect the AR technologies with AI, with computer vision, and we have developed a very interesting project there.
I have been searching for a job, and I searched in several different platforms such as Headhunter and LinkedIn. And I've been recently active in LinkedIn, and I've seen some posts about ISAI and that they are hiring a data scientist. So then I read about ISAI, what publications they do, what research they do, and I found it quite interesting and just applied there. And I think the interview process was very chill and nice, but in other hand, challenging. But yeah, I made it, and I think I'm very happy to be here and working in ISAI.
Following the research assistants role in the ISAI, how do they contribute to the groundbreaking success of the ISAI?
We have many projects, but all of those projects in engineering is divided into small components. For instance, in a data science project, you have these aspects. You just need to find the data. Afterwards, you need to create the data. Then you just need to create and adapt the machine learning model. Then you need to figure out how to train that machine learning model on top of a supercomputer cluster. Then you need to figure out how to evaluate that to see whether that model which you have trained is good or not. And then after you have a good model, you need to figure out how you can deploy that model such that people can use it. And then some people should also get feedback from that model to understand how to improve that. And basically all of these things have also lots of different subcomponents. we just at ISAI believe in agile practices and horizontal hierarchy. So whenever we have a problem, we just basically know who can contribute to that most. We just kind of make a short meeting and they tell that just Butter might know this better, or just Adal might. We also invite them, and at the end of the meeting, we just kind of like have some specific task force, and that task force mission is to finish something as quickly as possible. After we finish those tasks, we evaluate who did what, and we understand who has some good strengths, who just has some certain skills, and you basically level up that way in ISAI. Eventually, in ISAI, if you are a very hardworking, ambitious person, in 6 months you might end up being a very key team member. We are not believing in that an older person is better person. Whoever works hardest, whoever has the best skill set, for us that is the most valuable employee. And this is basically how we are assigning the tasks. But you might ask me a question about work-life balance, and I am personally a workaholic. And I work a lot, and it's not necessarily something bad. You need to find the correct life partner who would understand that. But in ISAI, we work a lot, and we work hard. One thing which I noticed is that some of the PhDs are not suitable for our team, because in PhD, people just basically work for the PhD proposals 8 months later, PhD defense 2 years ahead. In ISAI, we don't have those type of time frames. In 1-2 weeks, we just gang on the problem and then solve it, and it just requires an enormous amount of concentration, and it also requires certain type of people who can succeed under that type of pressure.
Okay, thank you very much. It was very extensive knowledge on the ISAI.
Hello, my name is Arjan. I'm a senior computer science student at Nazarbayev University. And my wonderful journey at ISAI has started from summer research program in 2024. And currently I'm a research assistant here. Throughout the year, I've been working on a project about flood prediction or stream flow prediction in northern Kazakhstan using models such as LSTM, ALSTM, transformers, and Mamba. Me and my team have been collecting meteo and hydrological data set from Kaz Hydromet and open source geospatial analysis platforms such as Google Earth Engine and so on. Now we're working on publishing our paper, and we hope to contribute to international climate research, climate change research. And I'm really grateful for ISAI for so many opportunities and for practical experience and for upgrading my knowledge in data science, machine learning, and programming languages. I've learned about ISAI summer research program in 2023. Back then when I was studying in second as my sophomore university year. But at that time I was very scared and I didn't even apply. I was very not confident in my skills. But then like whole my junior year, I really wanted to apply to ISAI because all of my friends applied there. Some of them had internships. And so I was really excited about doing my research with so many great experts, data scientists here. So I was very, very happy when I got in. Since ISAI is about machine learning and data science, many students are expected and required to have skills in programming skills in Python and then MATLAB, and if they have some basic knowledge in machine learning, such as the classical machine learning algorithms and techniques, then it will be really useful. Since here many projects are related to it. But if you don't have data science skills, if you have full stack web development skills, then it would also be useful. Like back-end, front-end developers are always on demand here in a summer research program. So during the SRP program, we were assigned to a specific project. We didn't choose our project, but I was really happy with the team and with the supervisor and with the project idea that we had. It was like, as I said, it was about flood prediction, about climate change research. The good thing about SRP is that every 2 or 3 weeks we had to present our progress, our project as a presentation to our supervisor, corporate supervisors, and to Atakan Varol. And we were getting feedback, and it was really useful for us for further progress in our work. And in order to become a full-time, like not full-time, to become a research assistant here after SRP program, I think all students have to be present and very responsible during the SRP and like complete the, I wouldn't say homework, we didn't have homework, but we had to like learn, like be a proactive learner and learn more about the topic that we are working on and then complete the assignments that we had. And I think, yeah, and then it's pretty easy to further become a research assistant here. While applying to a SRP program, in my CV, I had some one pet project about face recognition, ML app. And then during the interview, when I had with my current supervisor, I was asked some questions about basics in ML. And since I was in my free time, I was learning machine learning and some basics of data science. I was able to answer those questions. So I would really advise you to prepare for your interview.
Now we would like to move to the questions in general about AI in robotics in Kazakhstan.
Sure.
So Kazakhstan has quite unique industrial needs. So are there any robotics application you see as particularly promising for industries such as mining, agriculture, or healthcare?
Absolutely. Just I have visited many of the mines and smelting facilities in Kazakhstan. And to say the truth, Industry 4.0 is not in Kazakhstan. While the world is just working towards Industry 5.0, Kazakhstan has Industry 2.1. You can just kind of like still find some machines which have been brought in the Second World War from the Ukraine to establish factories in Kazakhstan when you just visit Western Kazakhstan, for instance. So in that context, there is a huge opportunity to automate and robotize these processes. So therefore, the first and foremost, I see a huge potential of robotics in mining, refining, and smelting operations. Secondly, agriculture. Kazakhstan has a huge landmass. Its population is rather small. And right now, robotic agriculture is becoming very popular. And autonomous driving technologies are moving ahead very rapidly. So basically creating autonomous agricultural machinery, in my opinion, has a huge potential in Kazakhstan, and the country should focus on that. Moreover, another area is this. Actually, Kazakhstan is developing in the field of medicine very rapidly. For instance, recently in the cardiac surgery center of our university, 100 heart transplantation took place. And it's an incredible achievement. I am very proud to be a part of a university where that happens, you know? And the whole medicine field is becoming connected to artificial intelligence and robotics. For instance, very recently, one of our former students who finished his PhD, working today in Intuitive Surgical, the creator of the Leonardo robots, gave a lecture at Nazarbayev University. So in my opinion, Kazakhstan should also use robotics and AI technologies in medicine because the economic impact of that is huge in the world and there is significant export potential as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we know that there is some like opportunities to improve our many fields, and thank you for your insights and thoughts about this. KazLM supports multiple languages, including Kazakh. So, did you face any challenges and like any opportunities coming with building LM for low resource languages like Kazakh?
Yes, and that was a major challenge of the project. When you go to the internet, you realize that there is very little amount of data in Kazakh language. And you might say that there is still some data, but if you dig a little bit deeper, you realize that 90% of the Kazakh language data in the internet is actually written in Russian and Yandex translated. We have even found in adilet.zan.kz some laws which had very obvious typos in Kazakh language because they were primarily written in Russian language. And in order to train LLMs, you just need lots of text. And this was a huge challenge. And we have solved that challenge by translating lots of high quality English texts into Kazakh language using our translation engine. For instance, you do not have in Kazakh Wikipedia some type of article on polonium, for instance. We just kind of like translate the polonium article from the English Wikipedia, and that way we could just kind of like train a KazLLM with that information as well. So this was one of the challenges. Another issue is related to the Kazakh alphabet. Kazakh alphabet is having 32 letters common with the Russian alphabet, but it has 9 letters which is not used by any other alphabet in the world. And this caused some issues in conversion of the text into tokens, the mathematical form the computer understands. Specifically, the efficiency of the Kazakh tokenization was very low, whereas Russian, English, Turkish, or even Uzbek language was much higher. And this has been another challenge that we faced. And we have created some type of methods to overcome this. But we are basically engineers. Problems is part of our life. When there is a problem, it's a challenge for us and we solve it. And successfully we solved those for the KazLLM project. Now this year our focus is more ambitious. We want to create Oilan, and hopefully we will do it for Oilan as well. And Kazakhstan will be one of the first countries which has a full multimodal AI model in the world.
Okay, that's very promising ambitions. So let's now move to the concluding questions, last questions of this podcast. So you previously mentioned about work-life balance.
Yes.
So any advices or any insights that you come up to as on your own with that balance? Maybe some advices.
All right, I am not the person to get advice on work-life balance because I am workaholic. I work a lot, and I like it. For those type of people like me should find the right life partner for themselves who can be okay with this. In addition to that, with respect to work, what I can tell is that many of my students tell me how you can concentrate to your for so long. How do you just kind of like, why you don't want to do something else, play computer games, do something different? I just basically have schedules and I believe that habit makes success. So every day at 8:30 I come to work. At 9 I have my group meeting. Then I have my other meetings. Then I have my time to read papers. Then I have my time to respond to emails. With that type of schedule, I just do not give me any chance to choose. And when the choice is removed out of the equation, you simply repeatedly redo the same sequence, and eventually you just get lots of work done. So this is one advice I can give.
Okay, and you previously mentioned that you like to read books and you like enjoy reading literature. Maybe you have some recommendations upon that. Maybe some articles that are very important to be professional in that area.
I can give you some recommendations about books, maybe, because with respect to papers, it depends on each field. For instance, just attention is all you need is the must paper you read, but every day I just kind of like read or skim 10, 15 papers. So specific papers would be very hard, but I like to read science fiction a lot. And if students want to read about science fiction and want to find a starting point, I would recommend Isaac Asimov's Foundation series and I, Robot series, which actually at the end are in the same Asimov universe. And another good author would be Ian Banks' The Culture series. It is very relevant today because we just kind of like are creating these artificial general intelligence and the Culture series is very much about those planet scale minds. Then I recently enjoyed reading 5-6 years ago the Three-Body Problem. Then some hard science fiction, Expanse series, The Martian, Underwear. Those are good books. But besides that, I like to read biographies, economic history, science history, anthropology, just Walter Isaacson, Niall Ferguson. Fiction I read less, but basically for fiction I would recommend maybe Kazuo Ishiguro. And in general, I recommend to students to read. I just like to read a lot. Now I have less time to read for pleasure, so I just take my lunch break. Every day I just go to Mega. When weather is good, I just make a big loop in the expo area, and my earphones are on my ears, and I am listening to audiobooks. And I would recommend to our students as well. Reading is not only with your eyes, you can also listen to those books, and that is basically something that they can try as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned it, I'm Robot book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just it is basically Isaac Asimov's series, and it just asks some of the very fundamental questions about robotics, about sentience, about what's a human, what's a robot, and it is basically the seminal work which defined the 3 laws of robotics. So yeah, just it's a good series.
What is your thoughts on the artificial intelligence and robotics in that area? Because as far as I know, the problem of the I Am Robot was that the robots turned against the people and they decide that it is better for them to keep them locked. So what is your thoughts? Because I know that ISAI spends a lot of attention to the ethics issue in their research.
Yeah, just I am concerned. I am concerned because AI has the potential to become smarter than us. And even if many of us would want to use it responsibly, there will be someone who will just not use it responsibly. And once you create some type of AI and program it to spread itself and maximize its computational capacity, the first thing it would start doing would be to do bad actions to receive more power. And it will be just much smarter than us. We might possibly will not be able to understand initially what it is doing. And when we understand, it might be too late. And most likely, AI will become as a distributed intelligence across the world at some point of time. And once it becomes distributed, it will be very hard to stop it. So in that context, I am seeing AI also potentially as an existentialist threat for the humankind. But it's the problem of the whole humankind. Another area is that imagine it is not the existentialist threat for the whole humankind, but some countries have AI, some countries do not have AI. Then those countries who do not have AI will lose a huge competitive advantage compared to the ones which have advanced AI. And therefore, each country should just develop their own sovereign AI capabilities. And the third aspect is that if you have AI in a country, you can do very many good things. You can help people. It might be a great tool, but it might also do harm. It can impersonate people. It can generate inappropriate images. It might just kind of like stir societal unrest. So therefore, in each country, there must be agencies, organizations, committees that look after how AI is used in that country for the benefit of the people and minimizing its harm. So just kind of like in these 3 levels, the first one, AI is a global existentialist threat. There is not much we can do about that. But developing AI in Kazakhstan, definitely we should do it. And then protecting the people against the harms of AI, definitely we should just work on it in the country as well.
At the end of our podcast, we want to make some giveaway in the comment section. So, Professor.
All right, so what type of question you should answer? So how can we make the greatest positive impact on our society using artificial intelligence? Please provide a concrete action plan.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for this podcast. It was very interesting to learn from you and to gain insights in the area of AI from the leading figure in Kazakhstan. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your presence today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed my time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.